Gentleman yields back. The gentlelady from American Samoa, Ms. Radowagan, who's the chairman of the Subcommittee on Health and Technology, recognized 5 minutes.
Talofa, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Ranking Member Velasquez for holding this hearing. I also want to thank all of today's witnesses for appearing today. It's an important hearing. We've been working on this exact issue in the Natural Resources Committee, on which I'm also a member. It's important that we also examine how burdensome regulations harm America's small businesses. It's easy for a multinational corporation to hire an army of lawyers to handle regulations. It's here where we need to advocate for small businesses. Mr. Howard, my question is for you. Regulatory overlap between agencies can cause confusion for businesses and complicates the permitting process. How do you think agencies should decide which agency is the lead agency with overriding authority when multiple agencies disagree?
The balkanization of authority within the federal government and among the different levels of government makes trying to get permits and indeed trying to comply with regulation a form of chaos. It's anarchy. There are no clear lines of authority to resolve disagreements among different agencies. The laws are so dense that the President of the United States does not have the authority right now to resolve those disagreements. In every area of regulation, there should be an overarching authority through the executive branch to resolve disagreements. The FAST Act set up a 16-agency steering council to resolve disagreements. I asked when they were doing it how long it would take to schedule the meeting and what happened if people didn't agree. There's no clear line of authority up to the president to resolve that disagreement. Common Good has proposed three pages of amendments to the FAST Act, which, among other things, would give the chairman of the Council of Environmental Quality the authority to decide all issues about scope and adequacy of environmental review, and would give the president or whoever he designates the authority to resolve those disagreements. Without that authority, what you get is bickering between Fish and Wildlife and the Corps of Engineers that can take years.
Can you explain how a one-stop-shop federal permitting system would work, and are there similar systems that can be used as a model?
The one-stop shop has applied in very well in other countries. Germany, for example, designates one agency, whether it's a state or a federal agency there, depending on the project, to give the permit. They still have to comply with law, but they have ultimate authority to make the decision. In Germany, which is thought to be a greener country than the United States, issues permits on complex projects within 1 to 2 years. A one-stop shop is simply allocating authority to an agency or to the White House, and with whatever checks and balances Congress chooses to put in it, oversight by someone else, and everyone still has to comply with law, so there's judges and courts in the background. But today, the authority is even. Every agency is equal to every other agency. They're each complying with their own regulations. They each have their own goals. And that's why it takes months and years to get really obvious approvals often.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back